Welcome back to the Crochet Credits with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today I'm going to take you through an introductory course for doing interlocking stitch crochet, and what we're going to do is make a baby blanket, and this is the design that we're going to be going for today. This is an introductory course, so I'm going to be taking my time, maybe a little bit too long-winded for those that understand this, but for those that are absolute beginners, we're going to try to get you started today so that you can have something like this before your very own eyes. So here's what we're going to be aiming for. It's a baby's blanket. It's using Caron Simply Soft yarn, and what you saw underneath here is Bernat blanket yarn. You can see that if you just switch off your hook and your yarn that complement each other, you can see that you can interlock pretty much with any yarn that you have. I really love how Bernat blanket does interlocking because it does such a thick piece of fabric when you're done, and it looks so amazing as well. So we're gonna have to just work into this, and we're gonna just go through the diagram work, and we're gonna start from that. So I guess that's lesson number 1. So on page number 2 there's a crochet diagram, and this has been designed by Yarnspirations designer Svetlana. She's an amazing woman, and this pattern is absolutely fabulous, and she's provided to you a diagram in order for you to follow. Now if you struggle with diagrams and such, you know what, you really need to understand how to read diagrams in order to do interlocking crochet, but once you understand how to read this, it becomes a lot easier. So she gave me this to be able to mark up, so that I've got it now marked up specially for you so that you can be able to follow along with me here on camera so that we can go through all the steps. Now all the written words have been provided. Let's talk about the written words next. So the written words have been provided just in case for those that would like to read it instead of actually seeing it in a diagram, and for those that would like to verify, which I'm one of those people, it's easier. So working in front of A, so it gives you where you need to go in front or behind and etc. And she's marked it with bolding so that it's easier for you to be able to tell. So it's a really neat way to be able to confirm what she has. So you're going to notice that row 2 and 3, when you see it here, they're actually the same kind of rows. So let's talk about how we're going to be proceeding across, and let's talk about what makes this interlocking stitch crochet anyway. So here's one of my prototypes that I did. So interlocking crochet essentially is 2 pieces of mesh that are meshed together, but actually technically not actually attached to each other. The only place that they're ever attached is right at the very beginning when you go to put on your secondary color. Everything else is just riding in and out, so you can slide your hook in and you can see that it's a completely separate entity. So it's almost like it's being woven as you crochet everything into place. The nice thing about it, turn it over, look, it's the same thing. So interlocking crochet is the same on both sides, so you can see that the shaping is really awesome. So let's talk about what we're looking at for this shaping here, and let's talk then about the honeycombing that you see. So the nice thing about this pattern, you're going to notice that this particular color that you have here is always the same kind of stitching when it's going all your way up. So what's happening is that you just change the positions, whether it's in the front or the back, depending on what it's asking you to do. Now the other one here is always the same stitching as well. So the nice thing about it is that both of these colors are having their own kind of path, but it's how you're weaving them in and out of each other. So how do you do that anyway? So let's turn this back to where we had started then, and I can tell because this is the starting strand. So what I want to do is that when I go to crochet across, so if I crochet across the across the chain and I crochet this yellow into place, what happens is that I gotta pick up the next color and go across with the secondary color at the same time. So this is row 1 and 2. So row 1 goes across, row 2 goes across, and then on this side you start up with the main color again, go across, so this is row number 3, and then you pick up the secondary color, and this is row 4 going across. So you can see that every row across is not just one time across, it's one time with the one color, it's a second time with the second color, and then moving up, then it's the third time with the main color, and it's the 4th time with the secondary color. So really essentially every row is made up of 2 crossings when it comes to looking at it from that particular point of view. So when you look at the crochet diagram, what don't you see in it? So you can see that you do not see these shapes that are happening here. It's almost impossible, even for me as an experienced crocheter, I just don't see it here. So what I decided to do is that I'm thinking, so I took the photographs from the Yarnspirations particular pattern that we saw, and I blew it up. I'm thinking, where do these colors appear and where does it all line up? So when I look at it from the point of view, you can see this is the shape that I'm going for. So that's my whole point. Look for the shapes that you need to go, and when I look at it from either perspective, that's what I'm trying to aim for. So when I'm looking at it, this diagram, I just don't see that. So what I decided to do is that I went a step further and I decided to mark up this so that I could see it from a perspective of of a human point of view so that I can just cross verify that I'm doing it right. So in my working notes I looked at the pattern and then I just kind of followed things, and I realized that I could figure out where the shapes are just by being patient and just looking at where all the stitch work is happening in play. So do you see how it kind of makes sense? So each one of these that pop out have two crosses going across, and then it's just one long one. So when you see it, it's got two crosses and then one long one. So I realized that where this is happening in the middle, which I don't technically see that in the diagram how it's doing this, that's okay. As long as I understand one of the shapes I can make things work. So what I decided to do for you is that I decided to take Svetlana's diagram and mark it up through Adobe Illustrator to be able to give you the keys to the palace to be able to do this. So what I've done for you is that this is a free downloadable that you can print off. It's available in the Crochet Crowd under the same title that you'll find. Just follow the links on this particular video description and you'll be able to follow this and download it. So what I did is that I highlighted where those shapes appear that I just showed you, and I also highlighted where the things need to stay in place. So for example, I put an F here. That doesn't mean fun or fabulous, it means front. So when you're going to start this one here, you start in the front, and then I see how I put back. These are B's. Those are back. So what I wanted to do is that when I followed across, the whole idea is to stay in the front or the back side to continue to make this pattern go. So I have actually put out additional notes here. So when I get to the end of row number 2 that we have here, okay, it says leave at back after turning. So I figured out that if you leave this in the back you can get the next section to work. But I'm gonna be teaching you some tricks today just in case you're gonna try something else. So when you go to start the next one, row number 3, you chain up 6 and then this is in the front. So it's F and F for front, and then F and F. So if there's no F, that means it's in the back. So I just didn't, I thought it'd be redundant to highlight everything. So when you're going to start all this, it just makes sense to be able to follow. So it's either got an F or it's got a B when you go to start, and basically it's a repeat all the way across once you understand it. So the nice thing about this is that this pattern is a repeat of these rows here, and then row number 11 is the same as number 3. So basically when you get to row number 10 you're just gonna put your eyes back down here and start back up at number 3 again and just work your way across. So there are some tricks that I can teach you in order for you to be successful right off the hop. Let's talk a little bit about that, and then we're gonna start diving into the actual stitch work. So here's my critical points of advice. If you're ever gonna learn anything, this is where you're gonna learn it today. What I want to tell you on row number 2, which is the second one that we go when we start off with the secondary color, it says to go into these spaces that you have right here. What I'm recommending to you is that you go right directly into the chain to lock it into position. I find with myself, if you don't lock it into position, that you can get very lost by the end of this row. So what we're going to do, what I'm going to tell you to do is go right into these chain work. Do not go right into a space so that it locks it so that you can see it a lot easier. The other thing I want to tell you is that when you go to start a row, what I'm recommending is after we get row number 1 and 2 done, I want you to start both 3 and 4 at the same time. So you're gonna start 3 just for a little section, and then you're gonna start 4 just to make sure that you started 3 right. I have learned through experience that when I get all the way to the end, for example if I go all the way to row number 3 and I didn't start it off right and 4 is in the wrong position, I have to frog all that way back. So what I like to do is start off both rows at the same time, make sure that they're both aligned properly, and then take 3 all the way across, and then 4, and then do the same thing going all the way back. So it's a really neat thing. Now this pattern is working in multiples of 10 plus 1. So 10 plus 1 is what you can do in order to change the size. So the Bernat blanket size that you saw, what I actually was chaining of 101 because it's a thicker yarn, and I used an 8mm size L crochet hook in order to do that. So what I want you to notice the most is see how that these are leaning up. These are on the same side. So then these are on the back side. So this is back, front, back. See how they're working together? And they will always do that. They're always gonna work in tandem like that. So what happens when you're going to work on a particular sample, I know it's harder to see it here, but the stitches will always be aligned like that. So when you're looking at it from this point of view, is that one side comes in front of the project and the other side comes down. I want you to ignore that particular concept, and I want you not to look at this so much. I want you to look at this and keep it in your eyes that when it comes down like this, that they're working in pairs. So no matter where you see it, right, they're always gonna be on the same side. So one side, if you look at it from this perspective, one side's in the front, one side's in the back. I want you to look at it in pairs, but working like that instead. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm really not sure, but that's what my key tip is for myself to help me to understand. Okay, so enough jibber jabber. Let's get our crochet hook and let's see if we're understanding this. Let's do a swatch together. Okay, you ready to go? I'm gonna be using Caron 1 pound with a 6mm size J crochet hook as my swatch sample today. If you would like to actually crochet the exact example, you can just chain a 121. You'd like to use the Bernat blanket version that I have, it's chaining of 101. But for those that would just like to try swatch, it is in chains and multiples of 10 plus 1. So I'm gonna do that. Let's start off with this slip knot and let's do that. So I'm just gonna do the swatch version. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's one multiple there. So I'm gonna do it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and do it one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I have 3 multiples of 10, and when I'm satisfied with the multiples, just add one more and that'll keep you in balance today. So get your chain done and then let's start then row number 1. So in row number 1 what we're going to do is we're gonna go 11th chain from the hook. So see how we've done this? So these are all part of the starting chain and we're gonna double crochet the 11th in plus double crochet the next one. Then we're gonna chain 3, skip 3, and then put 2 double crochets in a row. Chain 3, skip 3, 2 double crochets in a row, and we do that all the way, and then finally at the end of the chain you're skipping 3 and there will only be 1 double crochet at the end. Let's try row number 1. So it's counting back to the 11th chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And what I want you to do is double crochet into the 11th chain. Okay, and then I want you to double crochet into the next chain available. So just double crochet so you have 2 in a row. So now you've officially started. So you're just gonna chain 3, skip 3. So 1, 2, 3, and go to the 4th and put 2 double crochets in a row. So do that one and do the one beside it. So the next chain over, and you're gonna do that all the way across your chain. So 1, 2, 3, skip 3. So 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th. So you're establishing your mesh in this main color. So chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, do its friend next door. And then eventually you're gonna come all the way to the end of your chain. So you wanna skip 3 and then chain 3, skip 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then your last chain is 1 double crochet by itself. So what I want you to do is that once you get to the end of here, pull up a large loop and let it fall. Leave it down. You can work on this on your lap too. Leave it down, and I want you just to get your secondary color, and we're gonna go back to the diagram and we're going to review what we need to do for row number 2. So in row number 2 we're going to come back to where we are started. So what we're going to do is we're gonna come back over here. Okay, so we're leaving this here and we're gonna start and we're gonna drag and crochet this color so it matches up to here. So it comes. So we're going to start off and I want you to join it with the second one over from where the double crochet post is, and you're gonna chain 6 and you're gonna be in front of the project. And when you go to double crochet you're going to be in behind this chain, and I'll show you how to do that going into the same stitch. Double crochet, and then you're going to double crochet in behind into this one here, go right into the chain, and then you're going to chain 3 and then you're going to double crochet in front into the same one and in front. So if you see that you're going in behind for 2, in front for 2, in behind for 2, it makes it a lot easier for you to follow hopefully. So let's try number 2. So let's take this nice and slow, grabbing your secondary color, leave an extra long tail so that you can use a tapestry needle to hide that in later. And I want you just to pull it out, open, and look for the second one. It's right here. Okay, so there's 1 and 2. And I want you just to attach it with the slip stitch right to the chain. Don't go into a space because it'll lose its place, and you're going to attach it with the slip stitch. So now it's locked in there, and now leaving this in behind, I want you to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, that's considered a double crochet here, and then 4, 5, and 6 is considered you're chaining a 3 if it's bending over. Okay, so we won't worry about that too much yet. So what I need you to do is that we need to double crochet back into the same one, but we can't go right into it now. We have to come in behind this chain. So just wrap the hook and just sneak in behind and then grab that one into the exact same one that you did the join. So just shifting it and double crochet. And I'm gonna hold here for a second. So you see that you started off in the front and you chain 6, and your next double crochet you accessed it from behind, leaving this chain in front. Now remember what I told you, like the next one here is gonna work in behind. So the sides are always gonna be like one off by itself. So there'll never be like 2 fronts or 2 backs on a side. It'll always be one or the other. So because this last one was in the back, the next one has to be in the back. So I'm coming to the middle of the next space, and I'm going to double crochet into the second one over from behind. Okay, and then just push it back. Do you see that? So they're in behind this main color here. You see that? Now you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. So the next 2 in a row will be in the front. So you're just gonna grab this one here, okay, right where it's joined, and you're gonna access it from the front. So just double crochet and come in the front and only grab that chain and double crochet, and then the next one over here is gonna be from the front. So just wrap the hook, second one over, pull through 2 and 2. So when you look at these like almost like a V-stitch, one's in the front or back, one's in the front, but I look at it from the point of view like this. There's 2 backs, 2 front. So chain 3, and now we have to access this same stitch again, but this time we're gonna come at from the back. So just going, wrap the hook, come from the back, leaving that chain in front, and then grab the next one from the back. Getting started on this is the hardest thing of interlocking. Once you understand how the pattern's working, it becomes a lot easier. So chain 3. So you're now gonna have 2 in the front. So the first one is this one here that is from the back right now, so come in from the front side and double crochet right into that, and then come into the front of this one, and eventually you'll come all the way down to the end of your row. Just like that. So now you're going to chain 3, and you just have one more stitch left, and it will be from the back. So it's this same stitch but from the back. So do you see that? So when you look at it from this perspective, you see that you had 2 in behind, 2 front, 2 behind, and etc. When you turn it around, it also looks very much the same. So once you get to the end of this row, pull up a large loop, and then we're going to just look at the instructions. So it says leave at the back after turning. So when I turn this, I want to leave this one here at the back. So we're just going to just leave it sitting in behind, and we're gonna start up and pull up the next one here and just pull it back onto your hook, and we're gonna start row number 3. Let's go back to the diagram. So we're gonna try row number 3, but I want to start row number 4 at the same time so that I understand how it's starting. So what we're going to do is that we're gonna start off number 3, and we're gonna chain a total of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the first 2 will be in the front. I labeled it with an F. I want you to hold. Then I want you to go back to row number 4 here, Okay, and we're gonna chain up a total of 3 and we're gonna start this configuration. So the first one's in the front, the second one's in the back. So you can see that these are in the backs and then these are front and back. So what I want to do is I want to start row number 3 and then start row number 4 at the same time so that I know that they're in the right position the first time, because I don't want to go all the way to the end of row 3 and realize that the 4 is not in the right location. So let's it's a good way of doing it. I do this when it comes to interlocking and it makes a lot of sense and it'll save you time too. So I don't want to overcomplicate the system, but I want to show you what I do to prevent excessive frogging. So I'm going to start row number 3. So it's gonna chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, that's your first double crochet. 4, 5, 6 is your chain 3 space. And I told you that I want you to put these in the front. It has an F. So the first 2 will be in the front. Like that. So just pull up a loop and let it hold. I want you to grab the secondary one and I want you to verify that we started on the right side. I'd like to make sure that that's in the right position. You can't change this position of where it's coming in and out of the yarn after you get that done. So you have to know now if it's in the right position or not. So to start this row is chain 3 and it says to do an F in the middle of this. So in the chain space that exists. So do you see how this one comes up and then this one is coming up in behind? This is the chain space you want to play into. You don't play right into a chain anymore. You just go right into the space, and from the front side, because I have an F, I want you to put in a double crochet and I want you to chain 3 and then coming in behind this yellow access the same space but from behind. Okay, so you're going only into that fuchsia looking color. Okay, so do you see how it's in the front the first time and it's in the back? So how I would have known that this is wrong is that if I had started off wrong, then this one here would have been in the front, okay, and then this one also be in the front. So I want to make sure when I'm starting is that the starting chain here is on the opposite side of the first stitch. So once I know that I've started it right, I can continue along and then work my way across to what I already know. So we just chain 3 and the next ones will be in the back. So if this is in the front, the next one's in the back. So just accessing the double crochets, you can peel it forward if you need to. Okay, just the double crochets and put in 1 double crochet each. You will find you'll just lean it forward and just access the stitches. You won't have to move stuff out of the way. And then chain 3 and then the next one's in the front. So if that one was in the back, this time it's in the front. So just accessing only the yellow. So do you see that you're never ever going into the stitch work of the opposite color? You're always playing in the same color. So 1, 2, 3 and then this one's in the back. And then eventually you'll come to the very end. So 1, 2, 3. So when you access this final one here, this secondary color never goes around the outside edge of your project. So just going into the 3rd chain of that chaining of 6 and pull up a loop and let it fall. So when you go to look at the other project, you'll see that the secondary color never comes on the outside. It always stays on the interior of there. So the main color always stays on the outside. So you're gonna go back to the other color and pick it up. So the last time we left it, it was in the back. So the next one must be in the back as well. So immediately just double crochet and see this chain work here? That's your next one. And just come from behind and just access it, and that's a double crochet. And then chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, and then that same chain work this time come from the front side of this yellow. So just going into the chain work on the front. Okay, so if that was on the front, this one here must be on the front. So double crochet into this chain work from the front, and there's that honeycomb look that you're looking for, and then chain 3, and there's that same space here, so you want to come in from behind. So the next two are from behind. Okay, so there's the next chain here, so from behind. Chain 3, those two are behind, the next two are in the front. So this is the chain work here, coming from the front and from the front. And then eventually you'll come out to the very end. So chain 3, and the last one is from the back. So just wrapping it and access it from the back. And you see that you're putting the mesh together and pull up a loop. So you've now just completed rows number 3 and 4 at the same time. And you can verify by turning it over that it looks the same on both sides. So let's go back to the diagram. Let's go for 5 and 6. So we've just officially now come across, and we're now going to go up 5 and 6, and it says leave at the front after the turn. So the secondary color, which is the fuchsia looking color, we're going to leave that at the front this time, but we're gonna verify that before we do that as well anyway. So we're gonna go and chain a total of 6 again with the main color, and then it says accessing it from the front. Okay, so the 2 double crochets will be in the front, and therefore the back, front, back. Row number 6, which is the secondary color, it says that the first one is in the back. I put a B there, and you're going right into the space, chain 3, and then the next one will be in the front. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ourselves started, verify that we're starting right, and then continue with 5 and 6 together. So let's turn our work. So I told you in the instructions that the fuchsia will stay in the front. So I'm just gonna leave it in the front. So let that yarn stay on the front side. It makes a difference, and we're gonna verify that anyway. So let's pull up the main color and let's start row number 5. So we're gonna chain a total of 6. So 1, 2, 3, there's your first double crochet, and then 4, 5, and 6 is your chain 3 space. Now I told you the first 2 are in the front. So right here they're gonna access it from the front side. And then those 2 in a row are like that. So we're gonna verify, so just pull up a loop and verify that we started this one off right. So let's just pull that into my hands, and when we go to start this row we're gonna chain up 3. So 1, 2, 3, and this chaining of 3 really doesn't count as anything, it's just more of a builder. So that said, the first one is in the back. So in the next chain 3 space of that same color you're gonna come from the back side. So wrapping it and coming from the back, and then chain 3, and the next one is in the front. So I know that giving you the advice of leaving the fuchsia in the front was the right spot, because the first one was in the back. Okay, so we always have to make sure that the first chain starts the opposite to the first stitch. So we're just gonna drop that. That's good to go, and we're gonna finish then doing row number 5, going all the way across. So if these were in the front, the next 2 are in the back. These will switch spots really shortly, so don't think it's always gonna stay on the same side. So you just shift things out of the way if you don't see it, and put those in the back side. Okay, and then chain 3. So if that's in the back, the next one is in the front. Okay, and then chain 3. You can really tell that it needs to be in the back just by looking at the shape, because you know what the shape is because I've taken you through the tutorial. In some interlocking you may not have done that much homework to understand what your shapes look like. Eventually at the end you're going to just go into the turning 3rd chain up. Just make sure that you just pull it out and then you access the turning chain. Don't go into a space, but go into a chain work itself, and keep it so that the fuchsia color stays on the inside of the frame. Let's go back and finish off the other one. So this is row number 6 of the secondary color. So if that's in the front, the next one must be in the front. Watch what's gonna happen now. You're switching spots. Look at that. See? So the yellow will be going underneath now. So 1, 2, 3. So the next 2 in a row are in behind. So this is the same space, so just coming from behind. And the next one is from behind. So if you're understanding it, this one is now jumped in behind, this one is now gonna jump forward, so it's gonna start switching spots for your honeycomb look. So chain 3, and then the next one here is in the front, and same with this one. Chain 3, next 2 are in the back, so it's the same one, and so on. So eventually you'll get to the end, so chain 3, and then the end will be from the front. And the only reason why I know that is that this one's already in the back that you see. So pull up a loop, and we're now gonna start rows number 7 and 8. So you can see that the shaping is now changed positions. If you look at both sides, you see that it's quite awesome. So let's begin 7 and 8. Let's go back to the diagram. So back to the diagram, we're gonna now go 7 and 8. So it's exactly the same as what you're already knowing. So what's gonna happen is that on the end of row number of 6 that we did, it says leave at the front. So we're gonna leave that at the front, and we're gonna start number 7. So it's chaining a 6. I have a B now. There's 2 B's, so those will be in the back side, and then front and back and front and so on. Number 8, we're gonna start off chaining 3, and it's gonna be in the back, and then it's be in the front, back, front. So let's begin rows number 7 and 8. So let's turn our work, and let's begin rows number 7. So it said to leave the fuchsia in the front. So let's just pull the yellow up, and we'll leave this in the front, but we will verify that in just a moment. So make sure the strands come from the front side. If they're tangling at all, just unspin your project. So just unspin it, and that should release it. Okay, so let's try. So I'm saying that the fuchsia is in the front, so let's just chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, there's your first double crochet. 4, 5, 6 is your chain 3 space, and I told you that the first 2 are in the back. So we're gonna be accessing it from the back side. So right there. So we're just gonna double crochet in the back. Okay, and then drop that, and let's verify this front fuchsia one. So that was row number 7 to start. So let's start this one, and we're gonna chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and it said I told you that the first one's in the back. So we're just gonna wrap the hook coming from the back into that first chain 3 space, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the next one's in the front. So I know that I'm right because the first chaining is on the opposite side to what the first stitch is. So that's good. So now we're just gonna pick up the other one here, and let's do number 7 all the way across. So chain 3, so 1, 2, and 3, and then just come in the front. So really you're letting the shapes really kind of materialize before your very eyes. So 1, 2, 3, and then come from the back. And 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and then you go into the third chain. So just pull it out and go into the third up, and pull up a loop, and then go back to your secondary color and finish that one. So this one is in the front, so therefore the next one must be in the front. So just reaching over, double crocheting over. There's your new honeycomb look. Chain 3, and the same space coming from the back. So just from the back side. So that one's in the back, same with its friend. Okay, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That same space that you just went from the back is now gonna be in the front. And the same one with this one over here, front. 1, 2, 3, from the 2 backs in a row now. And then 1, 2, 3 and finish it off. The last one is a front. And pull up a loop. So that was rows number 7 and 8, and you can see that it's now shifting locations in order to do the shape. So let's do 9 and 10. 9 and 10 is the final of the repeat of this pattern. So we're now gonna start row number 9 and 10. So 9 I have in here is that we were leaving that last fuchsia at the back this time, and we're gonna start number 9, chain 6, and then these will be in the back. And then what we're going to do then is that the first one here of this one will be in the front, and therefore there's the backs and fronts and etc. So this is gonna be the final 2 rows in order to do the repeat pattern, and then you start back up at number 3 again and work your way back up all the way to the top. So let's do 9 and 10 together. So let's turn our work, and I told you that I want you to leave the fuchsia to the back side. We'll verify that as well. So leave that on the back, and we're gonna begin row number 9. So chain 6, so 1, 2, 3, there's double crochet, 4, 5, 6, there's your chain 3 space, and it has a B there, so these ones here are accessing it from the back. Okay, just like that, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the next one is in the front. But don't go too far. I want you to go back. I kinda went a little further than I wanted to because I was all excited about it, because I've gotten used to this pattern, is that I wanna grab my fuchsia and double check that I'm on the right side of it. So chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and I said that the first one is in the front, so the first chain 3 space accessing it from the front, and because I stayed on the back side, it's on the opposite side of this first chain, so it means I'm right. So chain 3 and then coming in from the back like that. So essentially what this row is doing is it's reversing everything back so that it will switch the locations of these again. You see this one's gonna pop then back out towards the front, and therefore it'll switch around. So it's a really neat idea. So we're just gonna continue along, stay on the back. So you see it's all about that secondary color on how it's joining together, whether the main mesh of this color stays on the front or in the back. Okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, and just pull the chain out and get the third chain up. Go back to the other one. Now this last one was in the back, so therefore the next one must be in the back. So just accessing it from the back. Chain 3. Now we must access the same one again from the front, and the next one's from the front. So you can see that it's just starting to bury that second one back underneath. So 1, 2, 3 from the back. Like so, and then 1, 2, 3 from the front. Hopefully you're understanding this pattern by now. And then 1, 2, 3, and then you're on the back. And then that's it for that color. So you've officially now just gone through all of your stages. Now you're officially on row number 10, so you start back up in row number 3 again, and row number 3 then will pick back up, and you will see that it will start doing some fun stuff, and you'll probably start seeing the honeycomb happening into the next row as you go. And this is a really neat idea to go back and forth. Understanding interlock takes a bit of time. This is actually my really good second run through this particular pattern. The first time through I was really kind of struggling with it, and then I put it away, and then I cleared my mind and I put it away for a few weeks, and then I pulled it back out, and then suddenly it all makes sense. I don't know. So let's talk about the border that is on this particular afghan. So the afghan actually has single crochet border, and what you have to just do is just go along the base and the top as you're going around. In the corners you put 3 single crochets into the same corner to turn. You're going to notice that it has a breakdown of color if you wish to do that, and it's really quite simple to be able to follow, and it's really neat. So the last round that we have is a reverse single crochet. It's also called the crab stitch. We have a tutorial available on that. All you're just going to do is just during the sides you're just gonna equally space out whatever color that you wish. So you can see that I'm using yellow here. You see that the yellow would have been there. So it would be yellow just to make it look all like it's solid on the tops and the bottoms. You equally space it. If it starts to buckling, if it's over ruffling, it means that you're adding too many stitches, and if it's starting to fold in, then it means that you're not spacing it far enough apart from each other. So you're just gonna go around several rounds. There's a total of 8 rounds altogether, and you just have to do that. And I know for some of you it's like, I wish you would have showed the border, and all it is, it's just single crochet then all the way around, and it's really quite simple to be able to follow. And the hardest part basically is the interlocking on this one here, but once you understand this concept you can have a lot of fun with this particular concept. So with my Bernat blanket sample here that I want to finish is that it's exactly the same pattern. I used an 8mm size L crochet hook, and you can see it's still looking pretty awesome, and it is double-sided when you look at it from this point of view. I love interlocking done with Bernat blanket because it's so much thicker and the colors can really make it pop. It looks like wallpaper to me. I think it's just amazing. So good luck with your interlocking stitch crochet. Hopefully this made some sense to you. This is a particular idea that is kind of really tough to teach, and hopefully that I was able to get through to at least some of you today. Till next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd. So it's my friends over at yarnspirations.com.